Hello, my divinities. Welcome back. So let's just go ahead and cleanse the area here before we get started with today's collective. So today was a little of me running around like a headless chicken. So I know that the collective is going to be uploaded late, but you know what? It's still going to be uploaded. I would never forget you guys. All right. Let's get started. These are the decks I was drawn to, so I'm very curious about what message is going to come through. We're going to be using the same format I've been using. So we start with Bokomu, Soul Forgiveness. Maulisa, Cosmic Power. Tituba, Feeling Safe. Interesting. Sokuyant, Scarcity. Aizan, Miracles. Mama Jumbo, Shine. Asaseya, Joy. Okay, so we've got Iset, Surrender, and Mamlambo, Self-Sabotage. Overall energy would be Buya Neanda, Radical Rebirth. Okay. Very interesting. You know what? Hold on. Let's change the way this is formatted a little bit. Let's start up here. Because it was this one, right? And then it was this one, and then this one came out. So that way we'll do it like this. And then this one on this side. And we're going to, the other one that was at the bottom was Abol Nimba, Harvest. There we go. That feels more, this is going to be long as fuck. All right. Okay, a lot of vivid, bright, bold colors. I love that. So let's go ahead and start with Buya Nanda, number 5. So who is she? She's the goddess of radical rebirth from the Shona, Zimbabwe area. Born around 1840, Charwe Yakisikana channeled a Mundoro, an ancient royal lion spirit named Neanda, who has been incarnated by a revolutionary Shona woman for at least 500 years. Heralded as Buya Neanda, Grandmother Neanda, this great ancestress was a healer who declared war against colonial occupation. Hell yeah. Okay, well then. Strong start. Very strong start. Let's see. What's the message associated with the radical rebirth? We've got the 3 of air. What's the message associated with the radical rebirth? We've got the 4 of fire. And the man. Overall energy, 6 of earth. Okay, so we definitely have a very African vibe here, right? Not only with the goddesses that I was drawn to, but this is the tarot of the Orishas, which is, again, a very of African origin. So let's see. This feels more like an ancestral energy coming through. So let's go ahead and see what these energies, because the Six of Earth is kind of like the Six of Pentacles, but remember this deck is different. Although it's similar, it has differences. So first let's see what the Six of Earth says. Okay, so we have the Six of Earth, and it says, a man, the sovereign animal among the others who shares his kingdom, distributes food in equal shares, giving 6 bales of foodstuff to the prejudiced goat and the impetuous zebu. The meaning, you have won because you have received from the powerful one who offers support equitably. Take it as a gift. It can represent important employment offers, contracts, and associations where all parties will share on a 50-50 basis. Seize this opportunity. So this could be very connected to, remember the oracle card was talking about an ancestor coming through, right? An ancient ancestor. You could have an ancestor who's bringing you a job offer, an important job offer, or an important contract of some sort, or association, maybe just a friendship or a business connection. Let's look at the Three of Air. Okay, now this is a little bit of a warning card, because I'm going to read the description, okay? It says, an eagle glides and casts its frightening shadow over the land, all already prepared to attack its future prey by surprise. The prey is still unaware of the danger that is awaiting, and as a consequence, it does not appear on the card. Birds of prey form a very important congregation in Africa. Many of them may break a corpse open with just their beaks and may lift their victims with their talons and carry them from one place to another. They are persevering in the chase and predatory in a fight. The ancient Egyptians used this sort of bird to represent part of their country. When it's upright, it means danger, breakup, depredation, separation, trouble, and obstacles. You will be an easy prey for your enemies. The shadow of doubt and jealousy will condemn you to a sad fate, violence, and perversity. So, yes, an offer is coming in, but you've got to be careful to not be easy prey. Remember, your ancestors are warning you about that. And we've had multiple readings come up about why offers can come with some sort of attachment to it. Either there's somebody attached to it that you're attracted to, but that you should not get involved with, or there's other relations, family around you, because let's go to the Four of Fire. You'll see what I mean. So with the Four of Fire, it says 4 members of a family walk arm in arm towards the sea, as if forming a chain of strength and union. All of them are dressed in white, and each carries a lighted pale blue candle to the limits of the kingdom of Yemaya to thank her for the happiness received. Upright. Thankfulness and recognition of all favors, help, and cooperation received collectively or individually, but representing the majority. Social, family, community, or work group. Humility in isolated or connected acts, which gradually and systematically bring prosperity, happiness, joy, and peace. Now, I did not think that this reading was going to get a little political, but remember how the number 5 card was talking about this ancestor rose in times of fighting off colonial oppression, right? So we have opportunities showing up because the family unit is in danger, especially people of color. We're all in danger, y'all. The system, and it's not just the United States, because I remember about a year ago or more, I made a post talking about how the astrologer from Extra AF page had said that all major players who were once upon a time on Earth are coming back around. And you know what? That made sense. Even at the time that made sense, and now it makes even more sense. People who have had a significant impact on humanity on some level, like Hitler, like Gandhi, people like that, they're coming back, which would explain the rise in this archaic mentality of, it's okay to be racist again. It's okay to, say slavery isn't that bad of a thing anymore. All of these things are coming back, and people are in shock. They're like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? We are in danger, especially people of color. We are in danger. Now let's look at the man. That's a major arcana. Okay, so the man It says, a man naked just as he was born, which represents his essence. His position is therefore like that of a 5-pointed star, because 5 are his senses, 5 the direction in which he moves, north, south, west, east, and center, and 5 the elements he needs to live, the 5th being his soul or spirit. He directs his 5 terminal points, the head, 2 upper extremities, and 2 lower extremities, to the 5 points of the star to reach the 5 lines of the pentagram, and thus the spiritual dimension, because as a symbol, a star of 5 points represents the central manifestation of light or the mystical center. So upright, this represents faith and hope, favorable prospects, qualities of the soul, creation, inspiration, creativity, mentalism, and psychism. So already what I feel is, remember that the 3 of air also said that what could hurt you is your own doubts, your own fears. People, like back in the times of, when you, honestly, any type of colonialism that you start reading up on, the people who were trying to enslave someone else, they had to break their spirits first, because a person is not going to willingly become someone else's slave. So they had to traumatize them and imbue them with so much fear and paranoia that they couldn't even trust the people around them. So although people of color will be in danger, they're still a family. They still hold the essence of spirit within them, especially your ancestors, your deities. They are not abandoning you. They are bringing you, they're hoping that you see the upcoming dangers as an opportunity for a radical rebirth, for a distribution of maybe the way things are seen or knowledge. Share it with others. Let's look at Abol Nimba, harvest. And she is from Guinea. Abol is a Baga fertility goddess, and Nimba is her living spiritual healing mask. Together they embody the sacred feminine and abundance. So her guidance. Wait, you know what I just realized? Did I read the guidance from Radical Rebirth? I did not. Okay, let's read this one first, then we'll read the other one. Give thanks. You are being blessed. It is harvest time. Pay attention. A season of great harvest is a season of great epiphanies. You are prospering. Embodiment. Harvest is when you reap the blessings that you have sown. The harvest is not just the fulfillment of your dreams, but the creation of them. Your thoughts, your imagination, the blessing of you being here another day on this earth, that is all harvest. What seeds of generosity, love, support, and goodwill can you sow in your community to create a bountiful harvest for all? Oh, I love that. I love that. But before we move on, let's read the guidance. I just realized I never read the guidance that came with number 5. I got all excited about where she was from and what she represented. I didn't read the guidance. So this one over here, the one of the lion, the guidance is, yes, you can. Stop the struggle. You can choose at any moment to start over and be reborn. Like the sun, you rise again and again. Embodiment. Dust yourself off. Move forward and go for it again. Life is about transition and change. You will fall on your face, change your mind, and need to make a comeback again and again. Release the idea that you messed up if things aren't perfect. Stop waiting to be ready. Make new choices and decisions. See? I told you. You need to be in this space where they can take things from you, but they can't take your essence. No matter what, they cannot break your spirit. Do not let them. Whoever and whatever this may represent, stay strong. Now, let's go ahead and see what the energy is with the harvest. What's the Abol Nimba energy? Well, okay. I put her back in, and here she comes, the female issue. Oshala. Ooh, okay. Heavy hitters coming out. And the 7 of fire. Well. Oh, goddamn, Ogun. On top of all that. Jeez. Okay. Orisha after Orisha coming out. All right. So this. I feel like this is going to be more for people who worship Orishas, who connect with that type of energy, because this is very strong warrior spirit. So let's go ahead and look up Ogun. So we have a better idea of what's going on. So Ogun, it says, this fighter who has a strong body and a lithe shape fights with integrity against the beast. He carries his sword in one hand and the other a spear ready to be used as a means of defense and attack. A simple crown with little finery reveals his hierarchy. On the crown there is a smaller sword like a kind of banner, and he wears necklaces or ornamental chains around his neck and typical bracelets on his arms. The major colors of the card are blue and green. The first is related to Ogun Soroke, whose syncretism is with Saint Anthony, while green corresponds to Ososi, Saint George, and to Ogun, who is also Saint George for many people. Others relate him to Saint John and Saint Peter. Both Orishas strongly relate to each other and are brave and hardened fighters who defend justice and order. They fight against evil and are invoked by people who want to undo strong spells or wicked deeds. Hence the allegory of killing the dragon or beast. The spear and the sword belong to Ogun, and since he is a patron of iron, all things related to metal and metallurgy are related to him. Ososi and Oshosi is known as the hunter, and his tools are the bow and the arrow. Some lions or nations who compare Ogun to St. George believe that his governing colors are green and red, while others consider it to be green only. Despite this difference, his definition as a fighting spirit is the same. His energy lives in the forests, in shrubs, in the mount, etc., in everything that is green. The owner of all herbs and leaves is another Orisha called Osain, although he shares this privilege with all saints, since each one of them owns one or more specific plants, who, in addition to that, has his or her ashe, as in power, and knows all their properties, thus becoming the great herbalist. So the meaning of this card, the spirit triumphs and prevails over matter. Good overcomes evil. Intelligence exercises supremacy over brutality. Conquered enemies. You will win in any contest. Love is conjured up to reject and repel hate. A nature that is benevolent but at the same time strong, compelling, precipitate, and impulsive. Tenacity and courage. You will bring anything you have started to a conclusion, and nothing, not even the smallest detail, will be omitted. Travels by train, activities and business related to metallurgy, romantic, vehement, and grandiloquent love, everything related to botany and groves, vegetation, and naturalistic tendencies. Okay, I told you. Even if there is danger, as long as you stand strong, as long as you fight your own fear, because remember, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting even when you know you're afraid. You embrace it and you say, what I have to do is more important than my fear. Now, let's go to the female Eshu. So she's also called Pombagira. Pombagira is the feminine version of Eshu. That is to say, she is the female Eshu and has the same characteristics as the male Eshu, but the latter's masculine features are replaced by those which are specific to the feminine gender. She is delicate, sensual, loves beauty, and so on. Although the gypsy has been chosen as a representative of all aspects of Pombagira, it must be clarified that she is known by several names, such as Maria Padilla, Maria Mulambo, Maria of the Seven Crossroads, etc. The Pombagira also acts as intermediaries between the Orishas and humanity. They are the great magicians of love and are turned to in hope of recovering a lost love or to find and consolidate a new romantic relationship. Cheerful, lively, and extremely seductive, they charm at sight. Upon arrival on the earth, they burst into musical laughter like a shout of freedom and happiness. On the card, we see her dancing with grace and talent, showing that music is, in a manner of speaking, inside her. She is clad in colorful clothes, her own colors, and wears much custom jewelry, with a red carnation tangled in her hair. She holds a small tambourine in one hand with which she punctuates her continual movements. A flower heart sets the background against which we see her in all her beauty. I chose pink for the background because of its harmonizing characteristics. The entire setting is one of quietness and gaiety. So the meanings: parties, weddings, festivities, and celebrations in general, shared happiness and surprises, beginning of a courtship, engagement, or marriage, falling in love, seduction, chance, and intuition, prizes and gifts. Good luck is on your side. Now, I'm being drawn to talk about a specific thing here. I'm still holding on to the colonialism word, but there's like, I feel like it's going to be, the way readings work is that they come out in layers, right? And the way that they come out, the reason I cannot talk to the reason that readings come out in layers is because we are a collective. So maybe one layer is going to apply to one person, 2 or 3 layers can apply to another, and then there's other people who the whole thing will apply to. So it really gives us the opportunity to pick and choose which part resonates with just us, right? Now, something that stands out is the colonialism thing, and it's going to be coming out in layers as well. So, for example, if there is someone who brings you a job opportunity, but maybe you work with ancestral things, like you work with ancestral healing, or you design clothes that resemble ancestors in some way, or you design things that have to do with your heritage, make sure that whoever's coming in to bring you a business opportunity is not looking at you like, oh, perfect. Like they're going to profit off of your work or off of your ancestors, because that would be colonizing, something that they're not meant to touch, right? Like I'm very careful about things that have to do with Africa because I don't have DNA from there. Like I really don't. And I can't try and pretend that I have some ancestral lineage to that, because that would be just me trying to insert myself in a place where I don't belong. Even if Yemaya is one of my guides, that's her and me. That's not me trying to take over. Like I'm not trying to be a representative of her. Does that make sense? Because that would not be my place. So now we're going to take it into another direction. The female issue. If there is somebody who's trying to come in and seduce you, and they are of European descent, let's put it that way. If they start talking shit about their own kind, and they say like, oh, I want to be with, a brown girl because y'all are chocolate and I don't like women of my own culture. And let me tell you something, that is not a compliment. Anybody who has to put down another feminine energy to make you feel better is predatory in nature. And they are taking advantage, or they're trying to take advantage of the fact that you may feel like you are in competition with other women or other men to make you feel better. Somebody who likes you for who you are, they're going to focus on who you are. They don't need to put down anybody else to come across like loyal to you, because that tells you that it's not that they like you. It could be that they want to be you, because for them to criticize their own, that has a aspect of self-hate to it. So careful with that, because there's a lot of the times where I come across articles where, a woman of color, whether Latina, whether African American or African in nature, or anything like that, they are with someone who is white and they end up abusing them, beating the shit out of them, possibly even killing them. There was a lot of self-hate that person carries, and you need to be careful with people like that, because that's going to come out in really distorted ways. So protect yourself. I'm not saying that you can't be with someone who's not of your culture, but make sure that this is someone who comes with a dignified place. They look at them, they are holding themselves accountable for their history, and they're not trying to colonize you by like trying to become you or trying to take over who you are. They are just accepting who they are, accepting who you are, and honoring both pieces. Does that make sense? Okay, moving on. Let's look at the Oshala. Okay. So Oshala, it says the most important, cherished, respected, and honored, the most beloved of all Orishas is our father Oshala or Obatala. The image representing him is divided into 2. The lower section shows Osagyan, an aspect of Osala, younger, synchronized with an infant Jesus, a walking Obatala who succeeded the first Orisha in sequential time. The older or more ancestral Oshala, called Oshalafun, is shown is shown in the upper section. He is the one who has governed everything since the beginning of time and who created our planet. He is syncretized with the Sacred Heart, our Virgin de las Mercedes in the Caribbean, Jesus of Nazareth, and the Senhor de Bonfim in Brazil. In both parts, the meaning is the same. The difference lies in that the elder Oxalá ruled formally and at a certain point in time delegated part of his tasks, but always monitors and controls the performance. In any case, the energy is one, but answers for both of them. Obatala, or Oxalá, is the father of all saints, or Orishas. Therefore, and transitively, he is the father of us all. All other saints, save some we have already referred to, came from his marriage with Yemaya. He represents the strength of purity and is the manifestation and glorification of goodness in all of its conceptions, receiving supreme power from Olorun, Olofin, or the all-powerful God. He is related to whiteness. And all things white belong to him. Therefore, he governs human bones, teeth, and mind, a physical and spiritual organ considered to be white. Since he can, jointly with Ifa, the Orisha of divination, and Oxalá Oromilaia, a kind of Orisha of clairvoyance according to some nations, pierce the veil of the future, since he sees everything, some compare him to Saint Lucy. That is why he is also related to the eyes. Bearer of peace and kindness, he is the symbol of wisdom, intelligence, and ingenuity, and has the knowledge of all times, a characteristic seemingly transmitted to his sons, to those who are fortunate to have him as their saint, their chief or head Orisha, that is to say, their spiritual guide. As already stated, in Cuba and Central America, he is known as Obatala, the mother of all saints, syncretized with our Virgin de las Mercedes, but he is also given a masculine side known as Baba, father, closely related to Olofin. Oxalufan, sitting in his throne with the dignity of a king, governs from endless eternity with the aid of the moral and spiritual principles required to bear the highest expectations and desires of humanity. A pigeon, as a reflection of his soul, represents the Holy Spirit or essence of the Orisha, a symbol of forgiveness. He is spotlessly clad in white robes, embroidered with silver, his metal, and wears bracelets and a crown covering his face, made of the same metal. One of his hands holds the pashoro, his scepter, which ends in globe-like ball crowned by the pigeon. When Oxalufan comes down to earth, as he is one of the Orishas who does not like to dance, he sits down to preside over candomblés, dances, gemileres, feasts, in this case under the name of Obatala, or saints' festivities. As in the image, he sits there silently and quietly, but his silence is revealing. Though it may seem surprising, it has a language of its own. The true wise man knows how to listen, be silent, and wait. Below, that's a lot. Below, walking along the beach under the rays of the sun, goes Osagyan. He is related to the sun because it is the center of the solar system and because it gives life and nothing could exist without it. His clothes are similar and he carries a cotton flower in his hand. The cotton tree, which belongs to him, has a sacred nature, and since people believe it is under the saint's influence, it is cared for and respected. In the other hand, he carries a sword. When embodied in one of his mediums, Osagyan is more mobilized and shows that he likes dancing. As already commented, Oxalufan does not, and in fact his energy is so great because of his ancestral power that he walks as an old man would, bending forward and trembling. Obatala, or Oxalá, governs the sky, the sea, and the earth. His power is huge, but he is considered one of the water Orishas, together with Yemaya, Nana, and Oshun. His day of the week is Thursday for the Afro-Cubans and Friday for the Afro-Brazilians. During those days, his sons refrain from having sexual relations, drinking alcohol, or eating beef out of respect for their Orisha, so that their bodies have the vibratory conditions necessary to receive his beneficial influence. Others say that his day is Sunday on the grounds that the first day of the week is that of all saints, but is presided over by Oxalá. He is the Orisha of creation and procreation since he was instructed by his father Olorun to mold the first human beings. His festivities are celebrated on December 24th, Christmas Eve, and January 1st through 19, although the dates may vary according to the lines of transmission. We have noticed that the cards of the Orishas, even though they may come out upside down when shuffled, thus far have been interpreted as if they had been upright. We believe this is the only possible meaning for the forces of good and light, which, when accompanied by less promising or less beneficial cards, may be given a different interpretation. The card of Oshala or Obatala, however, even when surrounded by unfavorable cards, never changes. His meaning can never change because he is the first reflection of God. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Meaning, kind father, positive parental archetypes, leadership, position, and authority. A fair judge, a magistrate, a gentle king or ruler. Intelligence and wisdom, activities where reason is involved. Mental clarity, divine protection, spiritual road, charitable and clear spirit. Complete peace and happiness, teacher, professor, and any other person who forges active minds. Enlightened teacher, priest who fulfills his duties as such within the framework of truth and justice on the basis of love and fraternity. This card protects you from danger and inconveniences of any nature. So, wow, I think my mouth dried. This is interesting because both of the cards that came out are very masculine, and yet we have the Pombagira here. So it could be that there's somebody that could be coming your way as part of your harvest. You could be having, because a lot of my listeners are women, right? So you could be having somebody come your way who may come, we have a dichotomy here. For some, they may come from an actually white background. Even if they are people of color, like they could come from like South Africa because it's considered Africa, but there's still a lot of white people who colonized there. So they could have like that white background. Or maybe they are a mix, because we also have the dark, tall, dark, and handsome archetype, right? So, yeah, I feel like there's a masculine coming your way who could have a very playful, seductive energy, but they are very protective, and they are not trying to colonize you. But there may be others where they are. So you're going to have to use your discernment and figure out which ones are protective, which ones bring divine protection, and which ones may want to just harvest your energy instead of give to you. So let's go ahead and read the Seven of Fire. Okay, so the Seven of Fire, it says, a flying dragon spits 7 flames. On the earth, a man protects himself with a large shield from this bloody attack. Upright, bravery, dexterity, and courage in facing trouble, quick thinking and skill in action. You are clever in business or commercial matters and will take preventive and defensive measures against competition and rivalry in your field. You will gamble with opportunities and plan and consider defensive strategies, but not offensive ones. You will take into account public opinion, internal and external audiences, the environment, and the media. Your actions will be carefully protected and profitable in the long term. So whoever this person is, they may be somebody who works in the legal system. Or, because keep in mind, this is warrior energy, so maybe they work in the Army, the Navy, the Marines. Maybe they're a judge, maybe they're an attorney. But this is going to be somebody who's protective. They're going to be somebody who knows how to navigate the current system we're in, because they're technically a part of it. They may look like a colonizer, but they are not a colonizer. And you have to learn to tell the difference between that mentality, those who have that mentality and those who don't have that mentality. So, excuse me, I'm going to stop part 1 here. We have a lot to go. I'm sorry, but there's some that are really long. I'm going to stop part 1 here. If you're already on Patreon, I hope to see you there. And if not, use the emojis on the title to support. And I will see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.